Social anxiety and generally being shy is a trait that I saw in myself and that I see in many men wherever I go. They usually throw themselves into two extremes in life. Then I call these the indoor cat and the over extrovert. So the indoor cat is where I aligned myself with at one point, and that is someone who tries to avoid social interactions as much as possible by staying at home and doing whatever he wants to do within the safety of his own home. The indoor cat will never really make new friends because he is stuck in a small circle of online friends. And they all have the same tendency to avoid other people as he does. I was an indoor cat, and honestly, I still can be from time to time. It takes time to really get rid of it. The best thing an indoor cat can do is meet a person who goes out and parties with a group and integrates themselves into that group to break that mindset. That's what I did when I went to uni, and honestly, it has sped up my ability to break out of that mindset a lot easier. Then we lean to the other end of the spectrum, the over extrovert. Honestly, these people are nightmares to deal with and often make mistakes that they regret so much. The people you can probably think of it, right? So the people around them get uncomfortable and everyone knows that he's the guy to keep an eye on, and never for a good reason either. The more I talk about it, you're probably going to know somebody like that or have seen somebody like that. This will be the person at the party who tries to get everyone's attention and get incredibly drunk. They will stumble around trying to do what they think will get people to like them, purely out of the anxiety that social approval gives them. Most people, from what I've experienced, are in the first bracket, but honestly both sides have one glaring long-term consequence. They lock you in a feedback loop, because you end up attracting people who are in the same feedback loop as you. And if you're watching this, the odds are you're somewhere in between the two, like I am, and you want to break out entirely and enjoy a life of socializing and making friends. Good. That's what you should do. I want to focus this year. My goal is to create a strong social network for myself and the people around me. And so last year, I did a lot of work on actually making the foundations that would help me do that this year. So what I want to do is go over the lessons I have learned already that have helped me combat social anxiety and shyness when navigating and preparing for a social situation like a party. Let's begin. So I feel like I drone on about mindfulness quite a lot, and I'm going to do it again. Mindfulness as a daily practice is great, but I've not really touched on the effects that mindfulness can have on you in the moment when social anxiety starts to creep up on you during a social event or right before. Because a lot of people, just before they go to an event or during an event, they'll get anxious. They just will. Imagine you're about to head over to a party and suddenly you start to get anxious and think about all the possible things that might go wrong. Like, what if people don't like me? What if I can't find someone to talk to me? What if I'm dressed like an idiot? I use these examples because I have said these exact things to myself countless times. The answer is always the same. Who actually cares? So shift your focus to your breath and ground yourself until you feel calm in the moment again. And don't cancel. If you're going to do anything, do not cancel. Make sure you go. If you cancel, you will gain no improvement because you have quite simply surrendered to your negative thinking, like an idiot. So stay present and avoid getting overwhelmed. Take it at your own speed, and pretty soon, you'll notice that you can go a little bit faster each time, a little bit more intense at social events that you'll end up going to. I used to be a very anxious person, and I used to be very hard just to hold a conversation with someone. And it isn't long before you find yourself going to parties and meeting a bunch of new people every time. I went to a party in a part of London that I've never been to before, and ended up meeting someone from the same place that I grew up in. Honestly, opportunities expand rapidly when you start taking opportunities. Then how do you actually go about those opportunities? And that is the next one. Building self-confidence. I want to touch more on the opportunities that are becoming available to you as you socialize, because these are all open doors, right? That can lead you to memories for life. Good memories. However, these doors will close pretty quick on you if you don't have the confidence to walk through them. You could be at a club and see a girl that you want to talk to. Hypothetically, this girl, if you talk to her, might be amazing and might lead you to a series of memories and an amazing relationship. What do? Do you go over and say hi? What do you say? She looks great. Does she even like me? Okay, you're going to walk over in a minute when it feels right. Okay, good. You have an idea. You look up. She's gone. That door is closed, and you never catch sight of that girl for the rest of the night, and you probably don't see her again. It's happened to me, it's happened to you. And it sucks. But it didn't have to be like that. If you had the self-confidence to go up immediately and spark a conversation, then you could have walked through that door and seen what it offered, at least. So how do I build confidence then? Now, so building confidence is pretty much all about pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and taking part in activities that challenge your ability to be confident in yourself and give you chances to learn and improve in life. So talk to groups of people, be present in halls, host events, try new experiences, just do anything that you wouldn't normally do, especially if you're too scared to start. That definitely means that you should be doing it if you're scared. The best tool that you have is the ability to set goals and achieve them as a man. So set out to do things every single day that will have an impact on your life and absolutely crush them to a point where you need more goals and more ambitions that are much higher than they used to be. Doing this will build a level of trust within yourself as well, which is a huge confidence boost, and it will absolutely help you to succeed in these areas. Set goals, live life, stop waiting. And when you start living life, you're going to have to start challenging negative thoughts that come up, which is what I'm going to talk about now. Now, no matter what it is you're doing, negative thoughts are going to come up and they're going to try and discourage you, even if it is going out to buy food. These thoughts are deep rooted into our minds, maybe not buying food. Anyway, but they'll try to drag us back to a life of mediocrity and comfort that we're trying so hard to avoid. The ability to recognize something as negative and ignore it is one of the most valuable skills a man can have on his journey and his entire life probably. The best thing I found that you can do when you're in the middle of a conversation is to give yourself a moment and actively challenge the thought that's in your mind and reframe it into something else. So if you're thinking, I'm scared that people might disagree with what I say, turn it into, I'm excited to discover a range of different perspectives on the topic of discussion. Which sounds a bit cringe, but just by simply changing the way you see a situation, it will completely change the way you feel about the situation, both in the moment and over the long period of time. There's been a lot of situations where I've used this in order to approach people or engage more in an activity that meant a lot to me. And it worked. It does work. It doesn't always work, but it works the majority of the time. Negative thoughts shouldn't hold you back, and the more that you ignore them, I found that they tend to come up less and less, which is, good. The only exception is when you turn the intensity up. And you will do that in order to grow. You have to. It does not matter, because by the time you get there and you turn it up, you'll be pretty well qualified in navigating these thoughts anyway, but just be prepared for them to come back a bit more frequently. So the next one is looking for social support. So when you're in the middle of a situation, you can't exactly turn to family or a professional for help, because by then it's a little bit too late. However, what I've found that you can do is to tell the people that you trust around you that you're feeling anxious about the situation. From my experience, I'm at a point where I feel absolutely no shame in telling people that I'm anxious about something. And every time I do, the people I tell tend to just talk me through it until I can organize myself again. You should never underestimate the power of friends, even at social parties. Everyone is there to have fun and everything, but you'll be amazed how quickly the focus can shift when you ask for help, which is crazy to think about. What you should do is make sure that you surround yourself with people who are supportive and that you trust will help you out should you need it. These are people who are aimed to lift you up and encourage you to get involved in situations that, even when you don't really ask for it, these are the best kinds of friends to have, by the way, especially when you're trying to break out your comfort zone. The people who know where your aim is in life and help you get there without even needing to be asked are a rarity and definitely worth having around you at all times. The odds are that a situation will expose you to more people that you can add to this support network. So I've met people at parties who have absolutely improved my life. And it creates a loop of finding more good people each time as you learn what kind of people you resonate the most with. And you can get the most out of this through the next point, which is progressive overload. Now, this is a term that you would know if you go to the gym or you watch a lot of fitness stuff. And just like going to the gym, progressive overload is the key to progression in pretty much all areas of your life. So you wouldn't just go to the gym for the first time and immediately try bench pressing 300 pounds, because that would just ruin you. The same applies here in pretty much the same way. You're not just going to go straight to a huge party with a group of people you don't know with the aim of making a bunch of new friends, because if you're new to it, that will just ruin you. Take it one step at a time and break it down into small steps that you can manage. And if you're feeling anxious about socializing, you're going to have to ease into it gradually eventually, and then increase the intensity only when you're ready. Start with the small things and then build up. That's all you've got to do. And from my experience, I found that I had to break it down all the way to just going out for a walk and looking at people and holding eye contact, smiling and saying things like good morning, which sounds really weird, but it was a huge benefit for me going forward because it eliminated the anxiety of initiating a conversation for me or initiating an interaction in general. Then I was able to start going to small events like movie nights and stuff, and events related to my passion, and events that my university were holding, which were great, by the way. If you go to university, the events they do there are a brilliant place to start. Currently I'm at a point where I've started going to a few parties and clubs and meeting a few people and starting to make a few friends, good friends too. Oh, let me tell you a big mistake I've made. I always talk to people and seem to get on well with people, but I never tried to make it any more than just an interaction. If you want to break out the anxiety, you have to form meaningful connections. I rarely added people on social media like Instagram, and then when I have, not once, not one time have I reached out and organized things with people myself. So that is the next stage for me personally, because I know I want to meet these people and start doing things as a group, but I'm holding myself back for no reason. So my advice to you is, don't be stupid. If you think someone is a good person, always ask for social media. Probably Instagram, but don't be a weirdo and make it your intention I feel like you should still have no intention with it. So don't be, talk to them for a bit and learn who they are as a person. They're just as you, here's the tip, here's the smart one. Just as you leave, ask for it and be confident and prepared in case they say no. And people might say no. So just as you're leaving out of a conversation to move on to whatever you're going to do, be like, oh, by the way, can I get you on Insta? Usually it works, I'll be honest with you. Some people will say no, but then they're probably not going to be a connection anyway. So the next one is relaxation. And this one will only really work before you are actually in a social situation. I'm going to mention it anyway, because I think it's helped me quite a lot. So if while you're getting ready, you start to get anxious and skeptical about going out, there are a few ways that you can relax that I have found to work, and hopefully should work on you too, because they're pretty straightforward. First one is deep breathing, because we can all breathe. So basically, close your eyes and take really deep breaths in and out until you start to organize yourself mentally. Your body will become more focused on your breathing than anything else going on. And you'll probably forget what you're stressed about, because it probably wasn't important. It may sound stupid, but to be fair, it does work. And if it comes back again, just deep breathe again until you're able to remove the thought from your mind. There's one that I've heard called muscle relaxation. Others have told me it works, but I've never really tried it. So I'll just go over what it is quickly. Basically, it is the process of slowly getting rid of the tension in your body by relaxing your muscles one at a time. Apparently, it's supposed to calm you down and bring calm to your mind as well. If I ever do try it, and I don't know if I will, but I'll let you know if it works. If any of you have tried it, please let me know if it does anything for you, because I'm interested, but I don't know. The third one though, which I have done, is visualization. And I try to use it a lot when I'm looking at anything from a goal-oriented perspective. If you're scared of going to a party, just close your eyes and imagine you're there. Don't just imagine you're there, but imagine the best case scenario. So imagine you're having a lot of fun with different people and going around meeting amazing people. Put this image in your mind and excite yourself into going. That will allow you to experience the same kind of level of enjoyment that the visualization in your mind provides you with. It does work, and the odds are you won't find the same exact results as the ones you imagine, but they definitely will be infinitely better than the results of you not going in the first place. So, better. The final one I want to talk about is self-care optimization. Now, this is another one that only really applies to you before a social situation. And for this one, it focuses on way before. Taking care of yourself is an important part of managing your social anxiety, which you may not have realized. We tend to be more anxious when we are tired or when we are neglecting our energy and nutrition in any way. As a result of that, it is crucial to make sure that you are getting enough sleep every day and eating a healthy balance of foods. You should also take breaks from activities to avoid exhaustion before a social event. Your energy is important to look after because it acts as a barrier against negative feelings, as your brain is able to ignore them. In my life, I found that when my energy and food is regulated better, I tend to have better times out overall, because I am more willing to get involved and make the most out of the experience. Which I think everyone wants to do. They all want to make good memories. If you don't want to make good memories, then I don't know what to tell you. You need to be aware that overcoming social anxiety and shyness will not be a simple job. It will take you time, the same way that it did to me. Be patient. and build up confidence, and you will notice the benefits of being comfortable at parties are amazing. Hoping you can take away what you need from this video and improve yourself overall as a man. Subscribe if you haven't already to join a community of people who are on the same journey as you to improve themselves as people. Remember, one step at a time, and you'll be fine.